Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the top waterfront suburban areas in Tampa. I had the opportunity to show a client of mine some amazing waterfront properties. I thought, let's make a video because let me tell you, they are spectacular. So let's get after it right now. So as I mentioned, I had been running around with a client of mine looking at waterfront property, and it was just so beautiful, all four of the properties that we saw. And so I figured I want to show you guys what $1 million and up can get you in a waterfront property. So I've got 4 properties to show you in 4 different areas, and these are the top waterfront areas in Tampa, but we're going to be focusing on the West Coast. There is obviously waterfront property in other parts of Tampa and St. Pete, but we're going to be focusing on the West Coast today. And stick with me till the end because I've got some tips about living in waterfront property and in the area. We're going to talk about flood zones and that sort of thing. And I also want your comments. I want to know which property you think we went under contract with. And I want to know what would be your favorite house. The birds over here are so loud. Can you hear that? Anyway, I'm over here right now in Crystal Beach, one of the areas I'm going to be talking to you about. So Crystal Beach is a small community in Palm Harbor, right? And so it sits on the west side of Palm Harbor, but you have the ability to have the access to US 19 where all the good stuff is. You know, when I say that, I mean restaurants and shopping, your daily life, right? Everything that you need, even some of the best hospitals. We've got tons of hospitals over here. So Palm Harbor, I know Palm Harbor very well because my father has lived here most of my life. And there's a wonderful downtown Palm Harbor area. They've got great restaurants and, like I said, shopping and all that stuff. So you're not gonna be missing out being on the West Coast, being in your waterfront property like these properties behind me. If I can show you like that one. I don't want to show you my car because it's got green gunk all over it because we're definitely in pollen season here. And so there's green stuff all over my car. Anyway, the other thing is because of where Crystal Beach is in close proximity to Dunedin and Honeymoon Island, you're close to the beach. So Crystal Beach is just north of Dunedin, then you've got Ozona, then you've got Dunedin. So you have all of those little cities to explore as well while you're living in this area. It is definitely a golf cart community. It's a tight-knit community, lots of biking. The Pinellas Trail runs through here as well. I just passed it and saw a bunch of bikers. Something else I just want to make you aware of though, if you're looking to get to the airport, you're gonna have to really plan ahead. It's about 20 miles from the airport, but that doesn't take into account traffic and access because there's no interstate to get you there. It wouldn't be really feasible for you to go 275 because you'd have to go south to get to it. You're gonna take one of the major roads, which is probably Hillsborough, and you're gonna take that all the way into the airport. So some of these areas I'm showing you aren't close to the airport and you've got to factor in traffic. So let me show you this beautiful home in Crystal Beach. Oh, so beautiful out here today. I'm just trying to find a spot here. Lots of wind, lots of loud birds. Okay, so let me talk to you about our next location, the next suburb we're gonna take you into, which is gonna be Tarpon Springs. Now, I've talked about Tarpon Springs before. You guys know, if you've watched my channel and other channels like mine, we talk a lot about the sponge docks and the Greek heritage and all the cool parts that Tarpon Springs has. And again, Tarpon Springs is still a little old. It's starting to kind of get its revamp happening. But the big thing, the big draw, I should say, for Tarpon Springs is those waterfront properties. Tarpon Springs has a bunch of little bayous and all these little inlets that you can get some waterfront property. The property I'm about to show you though is closer to Gulf access. So the great thing about Tarpon is if you're interested in deep water fishing, it's again, that's the big draw for boaters and fisher people. What's politically correct here? People who like to fish in that area, because you can get really quick direct access to the Gulf for that deep water fishing. Hey guys, I just want to stop the video really quick to remind you, if you have any real estate related questions or needs, I'm your girl, but I can't help you if you don't reach out to me. All of my links are below. You can jump on my calendar for a 30-minute consultation and we can start our conversation about what you need in regards to real estate in Florida. So again, don't forget, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe button. All right, let's get back to the video. Now, some of the issue that we ran into when we were out looking around at some of these houses in Tarpon Springs, trying to get a waterfront property, it's you have beautiful views, but you might be on a street that isn't so savory. So again, things are starting to kind of turn over there. I personally think the house that I'm going to show you was priced a little too high for the size and the layout, but we'll see what you think. Don't forget, comment below, let me know your thoughts. And don't forget, Tarpon Springs is on the northwest side of Tampa area. So again, looking for airport, plan ahead. You're going to be again 20 to 25 miles away, but that doesn't factor in traffic. Also, Tarpon has US 19 running north and south through it as well. So again, you've got access to all of your major shopping there as well. So you want to take a look at this property? Oh, this one was really pretty. Again, my only downside to me was the layout of the house, but let me know what you think. So there's an area of Clearwater called Island Estate. It's located just off of State Road 60. So as you're going into Clearwater, the main road there, State Road 60, if I can get that out. Here's the downside. It is an island community, so you are pretty much tucked away, and the easiest way in and out is through 60. The problem is 9-10 months out of the year, we're in season. So people are here going to Clearwater Beach, and it's the main access to Clearwater Beach. So it can be a parking lot on State Road 60. So Island Estates is very posh. It's known for its beautiful homes, waterfront homes. They have some condos over there. They also have their own shopping center, their own gas station. They have a lot of things, restaurants that stay on the island, because when you're on the island, you pretty much stay on the island. And that's because it is so hard to get on and off the island, because you're having to deal with the traffic of everybody going to Clearwater Beach. So when you head down State Road 60, you pass Island Estates on the right, but if you kept going down, you'd hang a right at the turnabout, you would see the Clearwater Aquarium. Or if you went left, you would hit Pier 60 and Sand Pearl and all the other major resorts and the big strand, and where all of our vacationers that are visiting us tend to go to. That's why I always say stay away from Clearwater Beach. It's packed all the time. But if you continue to head to the left, which is south, you're going to get eventually to Sand Key and then to Bel Air Beach and Bel Air Bluffs. So it's in close proximity to some really great areas. You also have on the other side of State Road 60, you have Coachman Park, which I've talked about before, which is this open air venue. It's a big park. You can take your kids to, there's a splash pad, there's a playground, there's lots of walking all around it, and it's got a water view, and they have a lot of concert venues outside, obviously, and you've got that beautiful view. So it is a draw right now. They're really revamping the Clearwater area. Isle Estates has been around since the 1920s, so that community is pretty tight-knit. It's pretty much a biking and golf cart community as well, but everybody knows each other and their association is super, super tight. I had the privilege of talking to one of the agents of one of the properties, and she gave me the whole rundown. So I really understand Isle Estate. So I'd like to see what you think about it, but again, you can't beat the views. So let's take a look at it. So thanks for hanging tight with me. We're gonna be talking about the last community and last property. And don't forget, hang tight till the end. I've got some tips for you when it comes to waterfront properties and communities and what you need to watch out for. So the last community on our list and property today is gonna be in Dunedin. Now, you all know, if you've watched my channel, I talk about Dunedin a lot. I love it. There is so much going on in Dunedin, and the housing prices are just going up and up and up. So it's really interesting that this house I'm going to show you is 1.325, and about 5 years ago it would never have gone for that amount. But again, with the market being the way that it is, people are kind of coming here in droves, and so Dunedin has been a really super popular area for people to move to. Again, you're in close proximity to where I am right now, which is, again, Palm Harbor, Crystal Beach. You've got Ozona nearby as well, like I mentioned. So you've got between Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor, Crystal Beach, Ozona, Dunedin, you've got all of these waterfront communities to explore. Dunedin also has its wonderful Main Street that I've talked about before. You could just walk up and down that Main Street and have a great day and lead into the evening. There's a lot of craft breweries around. You could brew hop. I've done that before. You could get on the Pinellas Trail and brew hop and then go to Honeymoon Island. I've done that before. Lots of fun. There's something for everybody. You see all walks of life. You see young adults. You see young professionals. You see almost empty nesters. You see retirees. You see everybody over there. Again, it's very much a golf cart community because the problem is it's very tight and compact over there, and they have not really expanded their infrastructure enough to support lots of parking. So I recommend parking a little farther away if you want to go to the downtown Dunedin area. So again, you've got the Pinellas Trail, you've got great seafood restaurants, you've got lots of little mom and pop shops, you've got festivals, you've got market days. All sorts of things are always happening in Dunedin. And if you go down Main Street, you hit the pier, and there's two great restaurants on either side. Bon Appetit if you want something a little nicer, or you can go to Old Bay, which is my favorite, where I get all my oysters. And again, I just want to mention, it does get crowded down there, so if you do plan to go, allot some time for parking. And like I've mentioned before, we're still about 20 to 25 miles from the airport, so you have to plan that trip ahead of time. But the great thing about Dunedin is Dunedin's kind of a larger area, and it bleeds a little bit into Clearwater. So you could still live in Dunedin and be a couple of miles from the downtown Main Street area and still have a really great neighborhood living experience. You don't have to be right down in the Main Street. But this property I'm showing you is pretty darn close to the Main Street, and I want to know what your thoughts are on it. So let's go take a look at it. So what did you guys think of that last property? I'm curious. Comment below. And which one do you think that my client went under contract with? I'll comment below once I get enough people that have kind of put their 2 cents in. I personally think they couldn't go wrong with all 4 of them. They were really great. So thanks for hanging with me. Like I told you, I've got some tips for waterfront properties. Again, there's so many things you have to consider, and I've been going through this with my client currently with that property that we're under contract with. So let's talk about flooding. So obviously, these properties are in a flood zone. You're going to have to utilize the FEMA map as best that you can to understand flood zones. Are you in the 100-year flood path? Are you in the 500-year flood path? Really what we're looking at is elevation. And as you can see, a lot of the homes, they went up, right? So if it's in a higher flood path, then they know that that bottom level needs to be block, and it needs to be mainly a garage. And then your living is up, so that you have a good 9 feet, maybe 12 feet even, to space that if something potentially did flood, you're just flooding a garage, you're right? You're not flooding your entire living room. But again, utilize the FEMA map for stuff like that. And flood insurance. Again, if you're looking at waterfront property, you need to start communicating with your agent about how much that's going to cost you, because it's going to be per property, right? Termites, 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 termites. Listen, guys. We live in a subtropical climate. Termites are a big deal here. we just had our inspection on the property. I don't want to disclose yet which one we chose, and we did a termite inspection, and it was clean. Now, I had just recently had another property go under contract, and the termite inspection was horrible. We had to pull out of the deal because there's too many termites. And the properties were not well maintained, and they weren't being treated for termites. And so we have to keep that in mind when we're looking at these properties, especially near the water, and especially when we've got moisture. We got to think about mold. There's all sorts of factors we have to think about. Seawalls. When we're looking at these properties, I was checking out the seawall. We want to make sure there's no cracks. Has it been maintained? Has it been updated? Seawalls are really important because that's protecting the integrity of your property. And the water levels. So just because you're on a canal and you have, a boat slip or a lift, for your boat doesn't mean that there's enough water to support your boat to go in and out of the canal. So you have to really ask the questions about what's the depth of the water there. We ran into that with this particular client and another property because the water levels were too low for any type of larger boat that he wanted to put in that boat slip. Don't forget, some of these waterfront communities don't have as easy access to some of the main roads where all of your day in and day out life is. So you have to keep that in mind too, right? Especially like I mentioned, Isle Estates, you're going to be kind of out in, the areas where all of our tourists are hanging out. So you have, yes, access to things, but it's going to be a lot of traffic and a lot of people around during 9 months out of the year. All in all, I think that it's worth taking a look at. If you're dying to have some waterfront property, let me know, reach out to me. I can help you out. But I just wanted to take you along today and let you see some of these gorgeous houses that we have in some areas that you might not have considered. So again, thanks for coming out, guys, and checking out this content today. And until next time, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.